All right, let's see if we get going. Let's see if we get this going here. Oh, looks good. All right, here we are. So I know it usually takes a little while for people to get here. So not sure if I'm not sure who gets notified of this or how long I should start. There's our CP things. For anyone, for those of you who probably are watching later and who aren't here yet, this is part 2 of the 2006 Lakeshore Limited trip from Albany to Boston on the what was then a shuttle. This will probably be hopefully a short thing tonight. Get this banged out. I got some actual announcements about so this whole series of classic photos. Some you want to stay around for at least those toward the end. But I know that no one's around yet, so we're gonna probably wait for people to sort of show up. But anyway, last I checked, we were at CP 109 west of Springfield, Massachusetts, where due to a snowstorm the previous day or CSX dispatching or whatever, we had to do a sawback maneuver or a duck in, or whatever you want to call it, where we had to pull onto we were staying on the main track with a train ahead of us and had to wait for a westbound to pass before we reversed and then continued on our way on main track number 1. This, just again to reiterate, this is the former Boston and Albany, which is a subsidiary of the New York Central. Now became the Conrail Boston line, upgraded to Rule 562 operation in the late 90s, or the early 90s, 92, 93, before Conrail then was split up, went to CSX, and is kind of the CSX bastard child coming out of Selkirk because everything running on it needs cabs. Anyway, I think that's good for the preamble. So here we have the two. We have a CSX SD70M and then probably one of their bog standard GEs. Doesn't look like a GE. It looks like an EMD. No, wait. That looks like a 70 Ace. But I don't know if CSX had those. Yeah, it's definitely an EMD. But I didn't know that. Maybe you can check They're not on the current roster. I mean, it could be a later model M-M2, but I've never seen anything like that. I mean, let's see, 4589. We can go to the last thing in the thing there. 4589. This doesn't even have the flared radiators. Oh, sorry, it'd be 4830. 4830. Yep, that's just got the regular. What if they had any? That's what it looks like, but this is way in the past. Here we go. 4848. I think that's real. Whatever happened to it? So I suppose I did have ACEs. Let's go to the historic I mean, unless I'm missing something here. It doesn't seem to be there. Let's see if I can find a historic roster or an all-time roster. Maybe they sold them all to CSX. I mean, to NS. No? Trying to figure out, for anyone who's coming in, what's up with a what I think that I spotted a CSX AC SD70 Ace in 2004. I never noticed it, but I can't find an all-time roster. Alright, I'm sure this will have some sort of all-time. It's gotta be something. Getting irritating. I know that there's all sorts of places with all-time rosters. Yeah, there they are. They bought 20 of them. 4831 to 4850. But they seem to be gone. That's strange. Alright, well, hey, there you go. This would have been brand new back in, or nearly brand new back in 2006. Heh. Well, I'll look. There's someone I can ask about that. But the interesting thing is that, well, I said while people up there, here I have one of the SDs, the CSX SD70 Mac, which they still have on the roster, and they have 300 of. Then they bought 20 of the ACEs, which would have either been just before or just after the sale to Progress Rail. I can go look that up, actually. Let's just, again, sorry for the slow start here. Man, I don't even remember when these started selling. It was originally Tier 2. God, Wikipedia article on this is trash. Yeah, this is just crap. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so that would be a 4800 series. So we have some sort of so I'm just going to label this with the CP109. So here I have SD4700 plus CP109. I have CP109 plus CSX 48XX plus 47XX in the snow. Alright. Sorry for the slow start. But, you know, half the time it takes a while for people to get here. So there you go. CSX had some 70 aces and they dumped them because they're idiots. I wonder why they would keep the aces and not the max. Oh well, I mean keep the max and not the aces. Huh. Well, you learn something new every day. Here we see your CP109 plus the end of train. Again, this is this isn't, you know, we're just waiting for this guy to pass. I think at some point you'll see the conductor shows up to do the reverse move. So he's gone, and we just need to wait for our signal indication to proceed. So here we can see me shooting past the conductor. You can also see the snow buildup there from the snow, the snow. And here we have the restricting indication, because there's the you can still see the end of the train. The dispatcher gave us a really nice lineup to get us moving again. You know, it would have been nice if we didn't have to do this thing. I'm going to try to see what I can do about aspect ratio here. I'd like to get 4:3, but I'm not going to be able to get everything I think I want. I think I can just... That works right there. Cut that. That's still legible. You can tell what everything is there. Quick. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice crop job. Yeah, it's a very nice lineup. You don't usually get that level of personal service when you're dealing with dispatchers. Here we have another 70 Mac. This would be a Conrail. This is $47.99. Actually, again, if we hit back to our roster, $47.99 would have been one of the new ones that they bought. So this would have been, but at some point, so again, I'm betting this has the flared radiator, and I think you can see it right there. If I was to zoom in, yeah, lots of 70 Max, and I'm just betting that this had to do with something with maybe the Conrail ones, or you know, I'm sure that there was something part of the something with the pool of them. They probably ordered them with cab signals, and that put them on this part of the line. I used to see a fair number down in Baltimore, and I want to actually get that brings up something else, but I'll address it later. This is the train that was blocking our path. He's waiting to get into Springfield Yard, and Springfield Yard is probably having some sort of problems. Let's just quick cut to our map here, and see what I should call this. Probably just Westfield. Probably Westfield. So that guy was it looks like there you go, train auto racks. Boston does have I mean, it does have, or at least it until Harvard bought the old Beacon Park Yard, there was an auto rack. There was a fairly well-known auto rack facility there to deliver cars to the Boston area. Guilford Rail System had one as well, which is now served by NS. So here we have the old Westfield, some sort of station building. So that might be CP107. Let's see what this is. This is, I think I know where this is. Hold on. I'm betting that's downtown and somewhere in Westfield. Well, as I said, there's an old CP107, which is a crossing. It's before CP100 and right after a grade crossing. Oh, god damn it. CSX resignaled CP100. It looks like that's, there's a how you do. Well, maybe not. That looks like they installed a whole new CP right there. I gotta tag that with whatever it's called. What's going on there? What have they done? Full crossover and something with those yard tracks for the quarry. Alright, whatever. Whatever you want to do. Oh, there's another CSX interlocking, or that's a high car detector. Coming down. Come on, where is this? Where is this thing? Here it goes. That's where it is. Looks like it's right there. Because there's CP100. So CP100 has not been resignaled yet, which is good. So this is... it's a church, but where is this? This is... It just looks like West Springfield. Looks like some old freight station or public delivery thing there in West Springfield. Probably just that's the actual station. Do I see a New York Central logo? Probably not. This is one of those times where I can go and pull up the Google and the Street View and see what it's doing. So whatever that building is, it's now a church. Street View is getting reliable. It's a church, yay. These are nice. For the high rails, they always label the tracks if you're ever confused. So, I'm just wondering, I'm just going to call that West Springfield Station. Let's see here. Come on. There's the shit. I'll just call it New York Central instead of Boston and Albany. Probably not the West Springfield station, but that's what it is. And here we have the start of CP100. CP100 is the east end. CP100. This is the west end of the West Springfield yard. West Springfield yard is one of the major yards on the Boston line. It's this and Beacon Park pretty much. There's some facilities in Worcester, but West Springfield is the closest thing you have to any sort of major facility. I don't know where CSX does its work now that they sold Beacon Park. Beacon Park Yard. And we can go into this. I mean, I can show it later. Beacon Park Yard, it was the major Boston yard, and I forget where they moved all their operations to after they sold. Harvard University needed space, so they sold it to Harvard 5 or X years ago. here we see CP100. The interlocking hut. And the neat part about CP100 is that as I noticed to this day when I was going on Google there, you have the westbound signals are all GRS Searchlight Dwarf stacks, which are pretty cute with the little sea lights there. Normally, Conrail would use surplus ones of these as their clear next interlocking or marker boards, but in this case we have a little reverse where the little safe tran light is the C for the clear next interlocking, and the stack is their typical stuff. Even up through into the 90s, Conrail was not shy about using searchlights in restricted clearance locations, and putting this in was of course a lot cheaper than putting in some sort of signal bridge. Again, that's the big change that you see between back then and today. Back then, buying an aluminum signal bridge with probably the metal all made in this, wherever it was made. Again, things were expensive, and people were cheap, and things were expensive, or maintaining things were cheap. And now, thanks to international trade and whatnot, stuff's inexpensive. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good way to do a good 4:3 aspect ratio on this. You want to go rail to rail for the aesthetics. You want to have rails ending in your corners there. Finally, back to some locomotives. Here we have some Connecticut Southern, I think. Not a great shot. Connecticut Southern is the rail line that had the franchise into the Amtrak Springfield line, the freight franchise. That's not it. Oh, great. It's a G&W subsidiary now because everything is... Well, hold on. Let me just see if I can... Let's see if I can find some roster here. So what you're seeing there is probably one of their B39-8s, and they have been they've probably been bailed, sold off, or maybe it was a B23-7. Well, let's try to zoom it, because I normally just read the number off, but I can't because it's a little blurry. It looks like 8511. All right. Yep. And this would be a... 8511 is one of the B39-8s, and these were notable for their gray crap ball experience things here. Yeah, I'm not sure whatever happened to them. I'm sort of interested in heading to Wikipedia here. Providence and Worcester has some. I guess GE's lease owns most of them for lease. Yeah, who knows where they are right now. Anyway. I'm not sure what that other one is. Some XUP unit. 37 something something. Well, it's either 3715 or 3771. I think it's 3715. All right, there we go. So it's 308511 and 3715. Yeah, it's the same. It's sort of like I always thought those GE boats were kind of ugly, but now it's a 3900 horsepower on a 4-axle. It's kind of pretty cool. But I mean, actually, it wasn't even the GE. It wasn't their GE's ugly. That Connecticut Southern paint job was just ugh. You weren't really happy to see those roll down the tracks. So here I have just a bunch of Jeeps, 2635, 6235, 6227. Again, here and sitting in West Springfield yard. What West Springfield I think was mentioned in The Simpsons. It's there's a parallel school. There's a copy of the regular Springfield Elementary in West Springfield. These are set up for remote control, so these are probably the yard units. Alright, we're done with the first round of stuff here. Make sure that I'm not accidentally deleting stuff. Go on with the second. We only got 3 rounds today, so I can take a little extra time. Oh, I don't like G&W because I'm just sick of the paint scheme. I mean, it's like pumpkin. It's like the pumpkin spice of railroad. It's just pumpkin, 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 and there's no way to tell. It's like they take they're not. They take over the short line, but it's not. It's like both strongly branded and weakly branded. Is that the short lines are still separable. They're all subsidiaries, but they're all contaminated with the G&W logo, and there's very little to differentiate them. So they take something that might have had its own unique color scheme, even if it's kind of an ugly color scheme like the Providence and Worcester, and then suddenly they pumpkin spice it. And they just slap like a couple P&W letters on. You can never tell what the hell to call it. Which is like, there goes that damn G&W again. I mean, at least Rail America just called everything Rail America. All right, I'm really running behind here. It's already a half an hour in, and I've done only one set, so I gotta blast this, get this going. So here we have this. I guess at the time would also be probably some sort of new GE unit, in the 5000 series. It's probably going to be some sort of evolution jobber. Just got to find the right place to square this off. Okay, right there should work. 522 5272. That's a C40-10. W. So this is another thing that's not here anymore, I don't think. This is really cool. Conrail, although they didn't use many of them, they did use Conrail would occasionally pull out the bracket masts. It's a little bit backlit here, but here we have both bracket masts with the little C lamps up there. Oops, didn't mean to sharpen that twice. It's a little bit of a silhouette, and I'm pretty sure this is gone. See, this would be CP. Come on, CP99. Yep. There it is. They replaced it with a cantilever because reasons. Ugh. I wonder if we could see that from here. Let's see what they've replaced that with. There it is. I wonder. Yep, they have C-boards on it still. But, yeah, God forbid that, someone gets a little fear of heights there. I don't know why they would do it. Let's see if we go back a bit. Try to change seasons on me. Oh, they even hooded their C-boards. Oh my God. Losers. Alright. Anyway, so this is Kaputski, and there's a cantilever there today. Oops. Next, here we have the CP99 little hut and the smile marker. And we have the jet blower right there. Conrail had a bunch of these, but they're not too uncommon these days. It's basically a gas turbine that's used to blow the snow. So again, it looks like they were probably having some sort of issues with the No, no. I mean, signals are not replaced due to PTC. This was actually replaced years ago. A lot of the stuff on the Boston line has not been replaced. There's not been a general signal replacement program on the Boston line because the signals are so new. There's nothing Amtrak has PTC compliant stuff with 1930s interlocking towers. In fact, I've heard that the PTC component is directly clipped to the output wires on the signal going to the light bulbs or LEDs, whatever, on the signals. The issue is simply it's a testing thing. If you're going to have to test the interlocking or the signal apparatus and have to do all that expense, you might as well replace the signal. The testing costs probably 10 times as much as the signal does. You got to get a guy out, and you got to have track and time and foul time and watchmen and all the other stuff. And it's just, in this day and age, the labor to test the damn thing costs more than the labor to. There's the. In fact, you can see that mast is probably right there, and it's the original mast. So this original mast in this picture, here is still there. But the bracket was replaced with a cantilever, and that just has to do. I'm sure there was some reason, some guy fell, clearance, who knows. But signals generally aren't. PTC is an excuse to replace signals. But if you were installing a new siding, if you were installing a new crossover, if you were adding an extra track or whatever, if you have to change the signal layout in any way, suddenly you're going to just go for all new stuff. And NS does this. I've seen brand new Darth Vader type hoods get replaced after 3 years simply because, things get changed and it's easier. And you can test in parallel. That's another big reason. You can, unlike the old days, what they do is instead of doing a cutover, they put up the new signals, they test them live in parallel to the old stuff, then they just turn one head and turn the other head over. It's all operations. It has nothing to do with how old the stuff is or if the signal is quote unquote PTC compliant. That's just one of my bugaboos. I always hate it when people are just saying, "Oh, the new signals aren't compliant with PTC." They have nothing to do with it. It's easier to test. It's just cheaper to test it that way. Oh, I got the jet blower there too. I got to add the file name. That jet blower is there's someone in there. I mean that's doing its jet blowy thing. And here we have the track 2 signal, because that track that the jet blower is on, and if you zoom in there, you can see he's got a little dwarf right there. So that's just where and this is right at the mouth of the bridge over the Connecticut River. Again, not sure how to really handle this. I'll cut it right there. That gets a lot of the bridge and the mast. Can't really get rid of most of the sun there. Oops. Let's try to get rid of some of the red at least. Make it a little more wintry. Hooray for catastrophic backlighting. Oh yeah, if in this day and age, if they're pulling down stuff that's new, it doesn't go to the manufacturer. It just goes to the signal yard, and it gets redone the next time they need something. But yeah, anytime there's any change, you'll see stuff. It could be 6 months old. It'll just come down because it's far. And I don't say just cheaper. It's just far more operationally. It's easier to test in parallel. So, I'm not sure now. This is where I'm going to go to my actual old photos and see what I used for these Connecticut River Bridge naming conventions. All right, this one I did still conjunct with a CP99 thing, so. This is the West Truss inside plus CP99 far. There we go, that works. Also, this should be a dash, not an underscore. And let's check what this is for size. 430, good. So this would be, I don't know how many trusses there are on this bridge. Let's give them a count. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, man. Oh, so it'd be truss 1, truss 2, truss 3, truss 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so how many trusses is this? 7, 6, truss 5. Inside looking westbound. Track 2, truss 5. I'll have to redo that first one. Bridge. Truss 5. No, it's track 2, truss 5. Inside westbound. Probably adjust that first one too. Bridge. Track 2, truss 7. Inside plus CP99. Here we have the east end of the thing, and then we have the, those are the CP98 dwarfs. I'm just going to do this as a straight CP98 picture. That's the most important part here, especially with this catastrophic backlight. I need to go back to Springfield and get better photos around this. Problem you have, it's you got that sort of, if this was a rural area, it'd be no problem, but it's a sort of urban, so you got to watch out for eyes. I've been around under that bridge. It's a little wild, wild west, but you know, you still got to watch out. The homeless around there seem to have a free pass, but you know, oops, what am I doing? Yeah, this is what I need. But I would love to get some photos around that Springfield Y. Last time I was there, I think the problem is that it was just it was downpouring. The rain was just coming down, and did not have any inkling to really do that. There's nothing good for it. So some bits and pieces of CP98 and the adjoining CP97 have been changed. Oh, look, even up there I can get some photos from that river walk. So that's another thing. I can just do that instead of having to go and clamber around underneath the freeway bridge. There's a lot of places you can sort of safely, without erasing, without arising the ire of, officials, you can get pictures of the this interlocking complex underneath I-91. I think it's I-91. So here we have the diamond. This is the the diamond that crosses between this New York, New Haven, and Hartford, and the Boston and Maine Valley line. So yeah, I could definitely get back to Springfield and do some stuff one of these days. The Amtrak part of things has been thoroughly ruined, and they did it years and years ago. So here we have Spring Tower there. You can just see it. Spring Tower is a typical New Haven tower, and they popped the top to fit it under the freeway. Good news is that's the freeway is probably a better roof. That's a more permanent and lasting roof job that's immune to Amtrak's budget that's generally going to be immune to Amtrak's neglect. I'm pretty sure that that's just a signal maintainer's shop right now. There's a light on, and I don't think anyone's really home. But also, you can see a CP99 signal there. So, coming into this, all used to go into the same station complex. Spring Tower was part of it, and then there's Tower 96, which was unfortunately demolished for the Springfield Station rehabilitation project. Again, hey, let's restore something by knocking down the historic parts of it. So this track here off to the left, that's the Amtrak part. That goes to the Amtrak station in Springfield, 3 or 4 tracks. And there, it's totally under their control. Here is the connector. This is what the old inland regional and the old inland regional could do, although they would generally go into the station. Or Connecticut Southern could take it. This is direct interlocked from the Amtrak Springfield line onto the Boston line. Over there is your Diamond. That goes from Amtrak trackage to what used to be Pan Am, but I think the state owns it because Amtrak basically rebuilt that line and they use it for Vermonter service. Now they actually, just a couple days ago, they started a new, what they call the Valley Flyer. It's 2 round trips a day between Springfield and Northampton, Massachusetts. So I'm just going to label that as a Spring Tower picture with the dwarf there. Spring Tower puts the spring in Springfield. Here we have the CP98 signals. I have a few pictures of these. I think that I covered them in a previous classic photo romp. And again, you can get upright up here to CP98. I'll show you on the overhead. So, here's the new station, the bus terminal where they knocked down Tower 96. Here's the Amtrak station. Here's the Lakeshore Limited platforms. Coming soon, actual direct concourse connections. The concourse is there, but they don't have the connections. Those are still under construction. This is elevated here. I did but you can sort of walk right up to this area and then just go right onto the right of way. There's no fences or anything. Or you can just come off the platform and sort of walk over there, but I took some pictures of these signals in here and no one really yelled at me. But you are in sight of the station, so you never know. There's the lower part of the wire, the Amtrak track. There's the second track that I said, the connecting track, and this is the track the other part. Amtrak trains doing the Valley Flyer thing will reverse and then go across. They don't use the Boston line platforms at all. That just takes too much coordination with CSX. You don't want to bug them. They're busy. Let me look at that picture again. Yeah, I don't know how I did it before. I don't think I just crossed. I might have just crossed the track. I don't know what I did. I guess we had a smoke stop at Springfield because I was actually able to go and get this picture of the engine. Here's up on. I have been in Springfield as well when this train has come through independently. Track 2 and Track 2A are the ones that are reachable from the Boston line. The Amtrak tracks, which I guess I forget what their numbering are, I'm just going to go to the overhead again because that's the easiest thing to do. So there you have track 1, track 2. Track 2A is interlocked from the Boston line. This track, whatever the hell that is, and then one more, and then the third. Those are controlled by fully controlled by Amtrak. Track 2A connects with those Amtrak tracks via hand-operated switches. And then it's re-interlocked. That track 2A is re-interlocked here at CP 97. So, in theory, things could use track 2A, but they tend not to. So maybe that Valley Flyer is going to do that. In theory, the Valley Flyer could do that and then cross over. And could it cross over? There's a problem. There's no. If you have that Valley Flyer train that pulled into track 2A, it could not pull out. There's no crossover for it to go head north unless they installed one. So, I don't know, but something tells me they didn't. So they have to do that backup move. So, bravo. It's in a bad photo. It's back. So you see a Heritage baggage car and like 3 cars behind it. So here's a wider shot of that CP98 complex, but here we can see again track 1 signal over there, track 2, track 2A, and this is the Amtrak signal for spring interlocking. I don't think it's Sweeney. Yeah, no, this is spring interlocking. The next one down would be Sweeney. So this all used to be Spring Tower. Now that's divided up into spring interlocking and Sweeney interlocking. So, and this is right after when Amtrak, all of this, Amtrak's entire Springfield line was signaled with like 1990. So sometime in the late 80s or early 90s, the Springfield line was traditionally signaled ABS 251 on both tracks, double track mainline all the way up. They did one of those Conrail cost-cutting things, so almost like the Atlantic City line, where it went single track with limited passing sidings, very short limited passing sidings. But all the signaling was like new aluminum poles with USNS H5 searchlights, small target H5 searchlights. It was really nice, very cool. I saw them there back in the when I was in college in the area, but that was in the film camera days. And I never suspected that they would get rid of them. And then one day I was up to visit people, and bang, they had LED heads, and they pretty much LED'd the whole line very quickly and very early too. So here we are in 2006, and that's already a Safe Train dwarf stack with LEDs. I'm pretty sure that those are LED lamps inside. Boo. I could go look up what the hell track number that is for Springfield. But I really don't care. That's like a southbound dwarf. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Springfield is still kind of dead, but it's poised to be one of those gentrified cities. The cost of living there is nothing compared to like Boston or other places in Massachusetts, and the state's generally nice. It's a good place. It's Massachusetts has decent government, and eventually people are gonna there's that class of people that wants to live doesn't want to live in the expensive city but doesn't want to live in Idaho will find this place. Oh man, it is going way late here. Let me drop in on people. Who's left? I still got people watching. Only one guy's asking questions. It's the same. I love you, Brian, but other people can ask questions too, which just trying to increase the participation. Yep. Good comment on the thing. Yeah, it depends. It depends on how the LEDs are done. I like LEDs behind the lens, like those safe trains there. The ones that have the bare LEDs, those are just gross. I don't know. They look cheap. They feel cheap. They're just plastic. I mean, if you thought you can get cheaper than Safe-Tran, there's like off-brand those, and they're just super plasticky. I don't know how well those do over long distances. Oh, uh-oh. I did have some additional bridge photos. All right, I'll have to do those first. Back when I used to do this, some of the I forgot to preserve the date when I would reorient certain photos. So I'll just do these two first real quick. Knew I had more bridge photos. So this looks like it's truss number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like sorry, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I guess I'll just call this truss 3 then. The other one will be truss 2. Still can't be perfect. All right, I'll just pound these out real quick. Truss 3 westbound. Truss 2. One, whatever. Okay, back on the go. Here you see the start of CP97, and look, there's Tower 96 right there, zooming in. That guy, boop. It was all clad in this copper, really beautiful, and they just demoed it because they want to put a bus terminal there. I mean, that was just heartbreaking. I hope someone took pictures up. I'd love to have known what the heck was inside that. So here we have Palmer, Mass. This is where, if you ever took the Vermonter back when the Connecticut Valley. So the Connecticut Valley line is the direct route that goes from Springfield up the Connecticut Valley to Vermont. And the Boston and Maine that became Guilford Rail System never gave a crap about it. In fact, I'm not even sure they owned it. It might have just been one of those things owned by the state and Guilford didn't care. Either way, they ran it down. It was like a 25 or less mile an hour road. The signaling was out of service. Amtrak had to pull off and go by the Connecticut, the New England Central route through via Palmer and Amherst. Now, that did give them a direct link to Amherst with UMass and Amherst College there. But that then it still was it also, you know, it was kind of a crappy route, unsignaled, 60 mile an hour, and they have recently, well, not recently, but they had to make this weirdo backup move. So here, I'm going to zoom out skis a little bit here and cut to the map. So here we are leaving Mass. Here we are Springfield. Here you can see the Connecticut Valley line that goes up the Connecticut Valley. There's Northampton, there's Amherst, there's UMass, and everything else. So the Amtrak would go all the way to this thing called Palmer and CP 83. So you're looking at 83, about 15 miles to the east. Have to pull into a siding, stop, hand throw, pull onto this New England Central trackage, dark territory, and then head up to, cross country to Amherst, and then keep going cross country till it rejoined. It rejoined all the way up there, well into well north of Greenfield, Massachusetts, and pretty much on the Vermont border. And then what they've done is they've moved it onto this more direct route. Signaled, I'm not sure if it's 60 mile an hour or 80 mile an hour, but it saved half an hour, cut half an hour off the trip time. Which, if you're coming from Vermont, going to anywhere like New York City or D.C. or someplace, it's you're going to appreciate those savings. So here we have the eastbound signal at from rear of the CP at the signal at CP 83 at Palmer. Everybody just called it Palmer. Big railfan site. When the signals did get replaced at Palmer, so here we see the New England Central crossing at Palmer, and that's the sort of the hand operated crossing there that the Amtrak trains would use to continue on to Amherst. Remember, it's not even opening up the switch. You got to change ends. They had to have a cab car, engines on both ends. Although I think they still might because of if they have to reverse out of no, you can if you're not going. Yeah, no, you don't have to have a cab car if you reverse out of Springfield actually. But this did get, the CP83 did wind up being resignaled. This is a restaurant, again, very, very popular with rail fans. But as soon as they pulled those Conrail signals, which, they're from the 90s. It's not, see, it's called the Steaming Tender Drive-In Restaurant. So they know who they're catering to. But I have not seen as many photos here. And, it's interesting how even losing your Conrail signals will diminish the value of a railfan hotspot. And here we have the westbound signals at Palmer. This is the connecting track that the Vermonter would need to use to reach the New England Central. And it's been some time since they moved off there. That's I say it's recently, but it's recently in the history of the universe. It's more recently than not. Well, the sun set and solved the backlighting problem. But I think it's causing another problem, mainly lack of sun. So like spaghetti, too much, too little are both a problem. All right, let's just zoom in here on CP83 today. Yeah, I think you can tell that there's the new signals there. Yeah, there's a new signal. There's a new relay hut there, and although you can still see the old one was there, and they just have some add-ons. So I'm not sure exactly what they did, but I know that they did get new signals. Huh. I probably could figure this out by looking down from the bridge. Oh, these still have the old signals, dated 2013. Huh, I wonder if I could go over there. Huh, there's even a train waiting. Look at that. This is the beauty of virtual rail fanning. Oh, just a local. Looks like a pair of Jeeps, 6224 and 6237. And this has said this is in 2013. You can see the old Conrail signals there. And, oh, look, they even got a little steam locomotive. Oh, looks like it's real. And what is that? That is a random passenger car, some dumpsters. Oh, still there. That's the old New York Central office, of course. Almost done. I got an announcement to make after we finish. Now this is a new interlocking that was installed by CSX, or was it? I'm gonna refer to the my photos here. I did look it up at the time. CSX actually had made some improvements on the line. So this is CP64. Now let's go to our doohickey. CP64 is a CP. They might have, I'm not sure they relocated, but see, this is one of those things where I said you have this controlled siding. What they did is they put an intermediate interlocking between CP64 and CP57, and then by dint of doing that, they just changed all the signaling around it because, hey, it's time to, they're making a change, and everything else gets changed around, in parallel, in conjunction with that, just because that's how you do your testing. Beautiful sky at this point. Very, very dusky and twilighty though, but let's see. So where do we cut this? I want to have those masts completely in it, including the seaboards. Go up. Get your aspect ratio that you need. Cut it. There we go. Let's cut back to the map real quick. So there's your CP83. I think CP67 is the next one. Oh, sorry, CP79, and then it'll be CP67. There it is. Or CP64. What? Oh, sorry. I'm saying 67. I meant 64. And that's where that is, all the way over here. And what they did was they added this new CP60. Previously, you just had this unbroken control side, what Conrail would call a controlled siding between CP64 and CP67. That's a 7-mile long controlled siding. Probably just sort of called it a main track, but I don't know. It's a distinct that doesn't really matter. I mean, for rule book wise in Conrail, it doesn't matter. So anyway, here we have what caught me by surprise for the new CP60. Very surprised I managed to get this photo off. Maybe I think it's because we were I might have caught them calling the signal because we're crossing over. And you'll see as we zoom out the quality of this interlocking. So the CP60 eastbound masts rear. It's all concrete ties. pallet prefabricated switches. Very, this is only a facing point crossover, so it sort of created a mini siding and then like a holding pen in case you need to sort of stuff a train somewhere and forget about it. And you can see the CP60 relay hut over there. And here we have the new signal, the westbound signals at CP60. And if we go over and zoom in on CP60 itself, you can see what I'm talking about. Look at that; it's all concrete ties and just for the interlocking limits. So they spent some money on that, or we're testing out something. Again, notice the poor Boston line. It goes, all the way down there at Springfield, and you go all the way up to the middle of the state, and you're all the way back down, and then you're all the way up again. It just zigs and zags across the entirety of the state. You're north, you're south, you're north to south. If you wonder what happened to the backlighting, by the time it's CP60, I'm now traveling compass south. I'm having a ball during this trip. I'm absolutely loving it because I am in the in the vestibule. It is cold as heck out. There is snow, like there's blowing snow inside the vestibule. Now I'm not sure at this point, but definitely when we got into the dark, I didn't have any photos to take. There was just snow blowing all over in the vestibule. I'd come back into the coach body and I'd just be, I'm in my hat and coat and everything, and I'd be covered in snow. Everybody would look at me weird. Another major problem with the Boston line is grades aside, curves aside, it is a 60-mile-an-hour railroad. That is the big, except in the commuter zone east of Worcester. It is a 60-mile-an-hour. It's a class 3 railroad, 60. 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. Once you get off the Post Road branch, you're at 60, and you're at 60 for hours. That's all it is. This is a CP 57. This is super twilighty now. Last photo. This is at Worcester. We had actually stopped, so I was able to get a little bit better of a night shot there. I have since, in 2015, I paid an independent trip to Worcester. This is CP45 at Worcester. This is the outer end of the MBTA commuter zone. The inner terminal is it used to be at Framingham, and they extended to Worcester. You can see here in the photo, in the thing, you can see it should be tagged. There's an interlocking tower there, but I'm not sure it's gonna let me pull up with it. It's the old New Haven. There it is. That guy right there. There's a New Haven tower there. It's not letting me show it because it's a signaling station M333 Jackson Street. Here's some better pictures of it from 2014 or 2015 when I was there again, and you can see it here in the photo as well. It's right there. This is a junction between the New York, New Haven, and Hartford, coming up one of their routes from the south. Now it's all P and W. Today, that mast here has been, this guy here has been darthed, but the gantry is still there. This is also newer. Instead of using this is a newer Conrail style. They've gone with the fixed marker, the circular marker lights, instead of the GRS surplus GRS searchlights. I'm gonna figure where to cut this. I want to get the mast thing, and then drag down right there. All right, one last save, and we're good. I had one quick announcement as I'm going to go check for questions. And for anyone who's left, just FYI, I found or I came upon. So normally I said I've been finishing all the 2003 and 2 and 2004 and 5 classic photos. I've been moving into 2006. Just FYI, I actually found a whole bunch of 2004 photos that I'd previously sort of just not put into the bin. I have this bin of photos that need to be redone, and I just spaced on them, and I have a whole ton of them that I found. Seashore Trolley Museum, a whole bunch of stuff around Baltimore, South Jersey, the River Line opening day, ACMUs on Metro North, Camden Line before it was resignaled, a whole bunch of NEC stuff, New Haven, whole Staten Island Railroad, a lot of neat things that I just completely lost track of. Well, I will be doing those. It's going to be the next year. I'm probably going to be doing 2 sets over Thanksgiving, 2 or 3 sets over Christmas. Stay tuned for those streams. And anytime I'm back around, most of these, unfortunately, are going to have to be 2-nighters. I don't like splitting these up over like multiple 2-week periods, but I'll see the best I can. So, I think some of them, if I crop down the stuff, I can get it to a 1 night. So we'll see. Another thing coming up, I want to make another announcement. On the weekend of November 11th, that's going to be the Veterans Day. I'm going to be doing a 2-hour practice session. I hope to do it that weekend for a signaling presentation I'm giving on PR mainline signaling for my NRHS chapter. It's going to be about a 2-hour presentation. I'm going to be going across the state of Pennsylvania from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, showing key photos at every signaling location and interlocking across the state on the main line. So I need to do a practice for time and for practicing. So just be aware, that's probably going to be done on the Veterans Day weekend. So stay tuned. All right. Thank you for those people who did show up. I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned. I got a lot of great videos from this weekend. Doing Metro North drawbridges, if that's a very niche topic, and Staten Island Railway. So I hopefully will have these streams posted along with those videos within the next week or so. All right. Have a great day. I got to get to bed. Well, actually, I got to get the trash out, and then I got to get to bed. All right, see ya.